top of the morning to you. Thank you for joining us again this great Friday morning, the 31st day in the month of October 2025. And of course, by God's grace, today is the last day in this month, the month of October 2025. Great morning to you and thank you for joining us this great morning on Perspectives Unlimited, the program where we take you beyond the news by helping you make sense of the major stories making the rounds across a major newspaper in Nigeria for today. My name is Ayo Emmanuel-Ojo, and I hope you had a great night. And then we pray that as we end this, month today, we step into greatness. We step into everything good and everything that we desire in the year 2025. Amen. Welcome to the program. This morning, we have The Punch, The Guardian, and of course the Nigerian Tribune. For this program this morning, we're going to read from the front pages of this, named dailies, and right after that, we dive straight into in-depth analysis to help us understand the top stories in our nation, Nigeria, better for today. Welcome to the program. All right, we begin with The Punch newspaper. On page 2 and 7, pages 2 and 7 of The Punch newspaper for today, EFCC, NFIU launch crackdown on alleged coup funders. Army reshuffle top ranks, redeploy 67 generals, detained officers' names uncovered. I'll move on to page 3 of the same Punch newspaper. For this morning, U.S. defense showing cars visa revocation. And on page 2, which is the major story this morning on the Punch, petrol soar above 1,000 naira per litre as Tinubu okays 15% import tariff. The writer to the story says federal government move to protect Dangote local refineries from cheap import. Few importers face tighter margins. Let's move on to page 7 this morning on the Punch. Bayelsa Deputy Gov sues Assembly over impeachment plot. On page 19, Ohando records 164% surge in profit after tax. On page 8 of the Tribune, or page 8 of the Punch, I beg your pardon, party registration, INEC disqualifies 6 political groups. On pages 4 and 5, call for others die in Lagos-Ibadan expressway crash. And finally, on the Punch newspaper for this morning, over 30 states rely on federal allocation, says report. Now let's move on to The Guardian very quickly. Nigerians expect results, not excuses, Tinubu tells service chiefs. Nigeria shouldn't be among hungry-stricken countries, says Peter Obi. It's on page 3. On page 19, CBN banks can downgrade licenses if unable to meet recapitalization threshold. The major story and big stories, pages 4 and 5. Justice on trial as courts battle neglect infrastructure deficit. Have you been to any, court complex lately? Then you're going to understand what that story, is all about. There's a photo story here on the front page, and it's an eyesore. On page 7, JAMB probes 10 staffers over corrupt practices. Ohando records 164 growth as profit hit 201 billion naira in 9 months. On page 6, petrol may hit 1,163 naira per litre as federal government target 4.8 trillion yearly from fresh tariff. On page 6, APC gains upper hand in House as defections reshape power balance. On page 30, federal government unveils national cash voucher to strengthen humanitarian response. On page 30, Anambra Guba polls EU partners call for ban on non-statutory security groups. And finally, on page 7 of The Guardian, 8th of 14 new parties scale documentation hurdle, INEC says. Now let's come to the Nigerian Tribune. ADA ASP 6 order association for next stage of party registration on page 5. 11. Expert warn of tougher times as federal government approves 15% import duty on petrol and diesel. Major story here on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Southwest leaders want Tinubu to prioritize regional integration. The writer says, lament deplorable state of federal roads and region. Push for Yoruba unity, good governance. On the same page 4, Adeleke decries unjust attitude of federal government towards federating state, says, I am too popular to be afraid. On page 31, 6 dead, 2 trapped in multiple accident on Kara Bridge, another 5 die in Ondo crash. On page 12, SEC partners CBN EFCC to track freeze illicit digital assets. On page 12, Health, how to manage prevent stomach cancer. On page 3, medical experts. And on page 3 and 30, Tinubu to service chiefs. Nigerians expect results, not excuses. Major shake-up as army redeploys, appoint top officials. And finally, Borno begins export of plastic materials to improve IGR in that state. And that's all we can take this morning on the front page. We want to thank you again for joining us on the program this morning. Find us on our Facebook page to watch us live as you listen to us on radio. You can go straight to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wells Radio 893 FM, fan page on Facebook, Wells Radio 893 FM, fan page on Facebook. Listen live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.wellsradio893.com. You can also stream us live on Radio Garden and other radio streaming platforms by searching for Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Once again, you're welcome to the program Perspectives Unlimited for today.
Of course, it's already obvious Jam has something to hide. And they chose to walk out on the National Assembly. Then, whatever gaze is open to Nigerians. We have heard of instances where is it snake or something swallowed money. And I think it is the same agency.
It is quite embarrassing. It's unheard of. Where an agency will come in. For us to oversight an agency, then the authority, the agency will tell us that, sorry, we would like to see you in private. We would like to see the chairman in private. It's very, very wrong. There are more to these things than what we are seeing. So,
what immediate action do you intend to take in addressing acts of terrorism, insurgency, and banditry bedeviling the country, having regard to your experience in the various theater of war?
I totally agree with the Chief of Army Staff nominee's opinion. De-radicalizing the repentant criminals is a good way forward, but what of the moral burden?
And you fire these things every day. So it is not a business for the chicken-minded. The armed forces is that part of government which you must spend money and hope not to use. If you do not have it, you are a chicken waiting for the hawk to be carried.
To our surprise, in spite of the fact that they are here for the armed forces, they went further to say that they want to urge the National Assembly to also protect the police forces.
I got a letter from the ambassador. Very nice letter, very courteous. I wish always to stress this, that I have absolutely nothing against individual citizens as citizens of any nation. This is an issue which concerns the government. I have continuing good relationship with members of the consulate, the embassy. I received nothing but courteous treatment from them. I want to stress that. And so I received this letter in which he informed me that he was away when that letter was sent, and that if I would please give him a call, he would try and explain the circumstances and so on and so forth. He said, but a principle is involved. Human beings deserve to be treated decently wherever they are, wherever they drop their buckets, even places where they're just visiting briefly. He said, I'm sorry, I will not apply for a new date. So he sighed and said he was very sorry, but that meant that my visa would be revoked. I said, by all means, I'd be willing to receive the letter of revocation. And I assured him that both he and his staff are given permanent visa waiver anytime they want to visit the Autonomous Republic of Ijegba, situated in Abeokuta. There will be no reciprocal conduct from my principality. So he left, and eventually, of course, the formal letter arrived, and I received it. So it's necessary for me to give this press conference so that people in the States who are expecting me for this event or that event, or were thinking of it, not to waste their time. I have no visa. I am banned, obviously, from the United States. And if you want to for
I'm actually tempted to write a piece on the ban of a global figure, but we'll look at that and see how it goes. Welcome back to the program. This is Perspectives Unlimited on 89.3 FM, Wells Radio, your preferred wholesome radio. Reaching you live from Wells Broadcasting House along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole, Estate here in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. With me this morning in the studio, Mr. Olaliko Son is here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. And how are you doing today?
I am doing beautifully well. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. And And how has your week been?
Oh, it has been fantastic. Though a bit stressful, but God has the whole glory.
Oluwasho.
Okay, Chukwemeka.
Chukwemeka.
That's not Chukwemeka.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Oluwasho. All right, let's start this morning with a quick highlight of the week. And one of it for me is this story from the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB. We played a piece earlier saying some of the reps, offended. I watched the footage, even some of the journalists, because it's just something else. Let me take the details of that to refresh the mind of those who missed it. There was drama in the National Assembly on Wednesday when the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, walked out on the House of Representatives Committee on Basic Education and Examination Bodies during an investigation hearing. The drama unfolded when the committee, chaired by Honorable Boku Afoji, convened a session to examine JAMB's 2023-2024 budget performance, implementation, remittances to the Federation account, and bank statement. The committee had invited the registrar, Professor Isha Koloride, to appear in person and present the document. However, the registrar sent a director, Mr. Mukhtar Bello, to represent him. The atmosphere became tense shortly after the session began when it was time for the introductions. The JAMB representative insisted that members of the press should leave the meeting, claiming that the document he was to present contained sensitive information. The committee, however, objected to the demand, maintaining that its proceedings were public and that it was within the constitutional powers to determine how its settings were conducted. The JAMB official became visibly agitated and in an unexpected turn stood up, directed his team to follow, and walked out of the session, leaving members of the committee stunned. This is not the first time in Nigeria where closed-door sessions will happen, but as against what that appeal or request may be, the director of JAMB, representing Ishakoloede, walked out with his team on the members. Director, Mr. Mukhtar Bello. Let me get your reaction to this one and maybe theater of the absurd, we call that, that we see in our nation. We're not seeing people fainting in courts or fainting on the floor of the house. People throwing shades at each other in words. Some other directors walking out. Snake or animals swallowing money here and there. It's becoming even more and more embarrassing by the day. But let me get your thought and reaction on this one.
Thank you and good morning once again, Chief. The truth of the matter is that I can smell mischief. You are not running Ishakoloede and Co. If it were to be Ishakoloede and Co., you can decide to do whatever you want to do. But you are running an agency of government funded by citizens of that country. You owe them explanation when it comes to how you spend their money. The professor himself was invited by the House of Representatives, of course, maybe out of mischief. We do not have the details, but if you are not going there to tell them how you have been spending money belonging to citizens, then something is clearly not right. You send someone else. And when the person got there, the person's attitude, character, and behavior clearly shows that something is not clear. The person was asked to present papers as regards how money is coming in and how money is going out of JAMB's coffers. And this guy said, journalists, can you excuse us? There was no justification whatsoever for the guy to have done that because it is against the law of the country. The National Assembly has the exclusive right to determine how they want to do their thing. It's not for you to tell them how to do their thing. Yes, there are closed door sessions. And yes, there are open door sessions. The people they majorly give closed door sessions are people doing security. Army, SSS, and maybe police, depending on what they are talking about. And that's for very obvious reasons. You can't be discussing how you want to counter bad boys in the presence of bad boys. But we're talking about money. National security is not involved here. How exactly have you been spending money? And it said journalists go out. Clearly, there must have been something they didn't want Nigerians to know about. That's number one. Number two, at this particular point in time, one would expect the Ministry of Education, if not the presidency, to have waded in. JAMB, in fact, not JAMB, Professor Ishakoloede, go back to that place and go and conduct an open session. And not just that, there is an establishment called the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. If I were to be the president at this particular point in time, I would mandate the Auditor General to go and carry out a comprehensive audit of JAMB's finances because they are screaming to the whole world that they have something to hide. But I am not very proud of the double standard being displayed by the National Assembly. Not too long ago, the Minister of Finance was asked to come and tell us how the country's accounts are. And they now ask them a question. Chief, how much exactly have we been able to save as a country in the name of fuel subsidy removal? Guess what? Wale Edwin said, you'll have to excuse the journalists. And everyone didn't fall.
And that was granted.
And everyone didn't fall. It tells you that there is double standard. And that is the area where I'm having issues with the National Assembly. Wale Edwin didn't deserve a closed door session.
Why grant Wale Edwin not
JAMB?
Grant JAMB?
It tells you that it is an animal farm where some animals are more important than some other animals. And in all seriousness, if we're talking about our money, we are the most important set of people. They should be saying everything in our presence. If you cannot tell us how you have been spending our money, it's safe to say you have been stealing our money. That's just it.
All right, let's move away from the situation around JAMB. I'm sure that in the coming days, but do you see Ishakoloede turning up for
It depends on how the House of Reps wants it. If they, thankfully, sooner than later, there is going to be a new budget presentation. If they tell him that if you do not come now, we are not going to approve a penny for your agency, you will have no choice at that particular other than to show up.
All right. Let's talk about...
And before even then, if the minister wants him to appear this very day, he will appear, not to talk about the president.
Not to talk about the president. Let's talk about the Nobel laureate. U.S. defense Shoyinka's visa revocation. The United States Embassy in Lagos has stated that visa granted by the country to foreign nations, or nationals rather, based on privilege and not a right. The U.S. consulate in Lagos made the clarification on Thursday in response to an inquiry from the Punch regarding the revocation of the visa of the Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka. In an email response to news correspondent on Thursday, the consulate noted that it could not discuss the details of the particular visa for confidentiality reasons. Under U.S. law, visa records are generally confidential. We will not disclose the details of the individual visa case. The public diplomacy officer, U.S. Department of State, U.S. Consulate General Lagos, Julia Mackey, said. Let's talk about Soyinka's visa revocation. Do you think, he picked his words, carefully.
Very, very carefully.
As always. One of my favorite part that I find as a comic relief is, whenever you and your team would like to visit, Republic in Abeokuta, I'm not going to reciprocate using not any of my principality, to fight you back. Who is the principality fighting Soyinka in the U.S. consulate or the United States of America? Is this a Donald Trump
in all seriousness
situation? Soyinka versus Donald Trump.
It's Soyinka versus Soyinka.
Okay.
If you are an old man, an elderly person, there are some things you shouldn't be saying, especially in public. When Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, Soyinka said all sorts of things that you wouldn't expect a man of his standing and age to say. Oh, America has gone to the gutters. I am going to shred my green card. Then it was not even a visa, it was a green card, which carries more weight than an ordinary visa. He said he couldn't stand visiting the United States of America while Donald Trump was president of the United States of America. And lo and behold, he didn't go throughout the first term of Donald Trump's presidency. Donald Trump lost the election in 2020, and if I'm not mistaken, Soyinka started going back to the United States of America. And now Donald Trump is back. Guy, you have to respect yourself. Stay in your country. Don't come here. That's one. Number two is that, I don't know if you have the US visa. It's clearly written in the, part of the paperwork you are going to fill, that you do not have a right. It's just a privilege. Not just that, it's just a privilege. Even with the visa, number one, they can revoke it at any time. Number two is that it does not guarantee entry should you find yourself in any American port. You'll still be subjected to Customs and Border Protection, CBP. So what's the big deal? A lot of people get bounced from the US every day. Some get bounced right at the headquarters, at the embassy in your country. Yeah. Some at the port, most. Some at the port of entry, which is even more, traumatizing. You must have told a lot of people that, I'll be back, I'll be gone for 2 weeks, 1 month, some people forever, only for you to get to the US and say, Benny, you cannot enter. So it's no big deal. As far as I'm concerned, he shot himself in the head, not the foot. And going by his double standards as regards how we run our country, I can remember everything they said about Goodluck Jonathan. Nigeria was not this bad then, and today he has forgotten all of those things. He's even, technically making case for what we have on the ground. I don't do well with such people. So for him, it's his problem. If you go and deal with it, it's not my business.
All right. Before we take a break, we still have like 2 or 3 more minutes. Let's go to Enugu State. The stories on the news this morning. All Enugu reps defect to APC. The entire Enugu State caucus in the House of Representatives has formally defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. The defection was announced on Thursday by the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, who read the lawmakers' letters of resignation from the PDP and the Labour Party during plenary. The event was witnessed by the Governor of Enugu State, Peter Omba. The defectors said they decided to jump or dump their former political platform due to what they described as unresolved internal crisis threatening the stability of the opposition party. Well, what do we say to this? All Enugu State rep now cross-carpeting or moving their banner to APC.
The truth of the matter is that our politicians are shameless. There is no integrity, there is no morality, there is no decency, there is nothing you can point out and say, okay, I'm proud of this guy and these people. You were elected. It's clearly stated and written in our laws that you are not just the person contesting. You are actually representing a political party. In fact, it's the party that you are going to find on the ballot paper. You now got the mandate of the party and took it somewhere else. I mean, my head cannot process why a normal human being would do that. And it's because of the lacuna in our constitution. I am not proud of what the Supreme Court did in 2001, 2022, when some senators moved from a party to the ruling party then. Senator Wahab Dosumu and the guy who later became Minister of Works, I've forgotten his name for now, Ogunleye, Senator Ogunleye, they moved from the AD to the PDP. Then the PDP was the hot cake. Everybody was rushing to the PDP, such that the PDP had overwhelming majority in the National Assembly, in the State House of Assemblies, in the, what is it called, in various government houses across the country. But today, the PDP is now an empty shell. I would... In all seriousness, I don't have much fear for the PDP or Labour Party as much as I have for the APC. The APC is risking an implosion because when there are too many interests, it's going to be difficult for you to merge all the interests. Because everybody wants to go in the direction that is going to suit them the most. Look at Bayelsa now. There is a new guy in the APC rank who is the governor of Bayelsa. People have been running Bayelsa APC for a long time, and these are big boys. David Leon is there, Timothy Silva is there. He is coming. Will he now lord himself over them? Of course, the party in Abuja will say, okay, we know the governor, but these are guys who have their own grassroots soldiers before. It happened to the PDP. I'm not cursing the APC, but I can see it. I'm a political scientist and strategist. I can see it. It's just 1-2 election cycles from now. It is going to happen.
The same thing is going to happen to them.
In fact, it's going to be worse.
All right, so let's take a break very quickly. I'd like to know what exactly is the fate of the People's Democratic Party in the coming election. If we're seeing, everyone literally, in the seat of power, especially at that level in Enugu State, cross-carpeting, and not just in Enugu State.
Bayelsa as well.
It's
the governor of Taraba is planning to move Plateau and some other 2 states. I mean, the PDP is, like I said, an empty shell.
All right.
We'll talk about that.
Yes, when we come back, we'll talk about that. And of course, is Nigeria heading towards that one-party state thing? Somehow. We'll look at that and more right after the break, and the phone lines will also be open for you to join the show. Stay with us.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas!
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
Christmas is almost here, and Wells Radio 89.3 FM is bringing the joy closer to you. It's the Father Christmas Fiesta 2025.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Happening live on the 11th, 12th, and 13th of December 2025. It's 3 days of joy, fun, and family moment that every child will remember. We are calling on churches, NGOs, schools, brands, and kind-hearted individuals to partner, sponsor, and spread the joy of Christmas to families across Ibadan and Oyo State. Let's make Christmas brighter together. For sponsorship and partnership, call Toby on 0803 509 3394. Sam on 0813 746 5878. Ayo on 0706 840 7359. Wells Radio 89.3 FM, celebrating Christmas the family way.
Now the ground is white, so grow it while you're young.
It's back, bigger, bolder, and better. The Big 7 Stories returns to Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Join Bolanle Oduekun-Ayola every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. as she breaks down the 7 biggest headlines of the week: politics, economy, security, lifestyle, and more. Plus, in our special segment, I Report, we dig deeper into one headline with expert insights and the voices of everyday Nigerians. Don't miss the comeback of the Big 7 Stories every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. only on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, the wholesome radio station.
Hey! I dey miss my language oh.
How you go miss your language when na im dey speak for Wazobia platform wey dey shele for Wells Radio 89.3 FM?
Haba, Wazobia platform na your program from Wells Radio 89.3 FM wey dey speak Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa plus including Pidgin, and na every Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays you go hear am.
Na from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Advertise for Wazobia platform. Everybody go hear am for every corner for your state and beyond.
Wazobia platform na people's program.
All right, you're welcome back to the program Perspectives Unlimited. Thank you for joining us this morning and thank you for connecting to the show. You want to share your perspective? Call 0916 893 1000, 0915 334 893, and of course you can call 0911 333 893. Let's talk about the question I asked earlier. Is Nigeria heading towards that one-party state, situation at the moment?
It is safe to conclude that the current ruling party is interested in having all the seats in the country. And nothing defines that better than having a one-party state. But is it going to work? I'm not so sure. And, I'm a student of history. Some people tried to do that. Some tried to do it in the First Republic, 60s. It imploded very badly, such that even, I don't want to say some things that happened to the people who were plotting for such. In the Second Republic, 80s, late 70s, early 80s, it was going in that direction as well. But it imploded very badly, very, very badly for the country. I do not want that type of implosion for the country again. I mean, we should be growing, and we should put that in the rearview mirror. But the truth of the matter is that just a couple of years ago, the PDP attempted it. They had 28 governors then out of 36. I mean, that tells you a lot. What's the fate of the PDP today? They are struggling to keep 7 governors. It's still going to be the same thing, in my opinion, because people are now going to understand that come 2027, we have just one shot to stop another Paul Biya in Nigeria. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this. It's early, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, Mr. Sunday, what are you saying? But looking at the body language of the president and his handlers, they are already planning something beyond 2031. Let me give you an insight. Less than 2 weeks ago, Olelani Bekon was saying something somewhere, and that thing struck me. He said, all activities as regards constitutional amendments should be put on hold for now. Nothing should happen about that in 2025, not 2026, not 2027, not 2028, not 2029, not 2030, until 2031. When, should the president win a second term, he would be going on. He now said Nigeria should have a new constitution come 2031. The implication of that is that... Okay.
Right, let's take this call quickly. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Adirunke from Muslim.
Good morning, Adirunke from Muslim. Thank you for calling us. Your perspective.
Yes, but my perspective on defection, people defecting. Defection will not determine the outcome of the 2027 election, because we, the people of Nigerians, we know what we want come 2027. So those people, to me, those people that are defecting, I see it as their selfish interest. And
hello, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I see that their own selfish interest and for their own ambition, not for the interest of the people. How can you be defecting to a party that has plugged us into more and more hardship? And besides, Nigeria can never be a one-party state. We don't want that. So come 2027, we are the ones that are going to determine our fate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your call. We Nigerians know what we want. Do Nigerians truly know what they want?
Well, like I was saying, 2031 with a new constitution, anybody who had contested for anything in the past and maybe exhausted their two-term mandate can now start afresh. Do you know what that means? It means that they are already planning life presidency for somebody. But, you know, somebody did it. Somebody attempted to do it around 20 years ago. And, you know, the shame he brought, the venture brought him is something he still deals with till today. It's not going to work. Nigeria is not Cameroon. Trust me, Nigeria is not Cameroon.
Let's go to the story that concerns all Nigerians, as of course it has the implication of increasing the daily cost of living. Petrol price soar above 1,000 naira per litre as Tinubu okays 15% tariff. Another similar headline on The Guardian this morning says petrol price hits 1,163 naira per litre in the country. Let's take the details. Petroleum marketers have warned that the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, could exceed 1,000 naira per litre following President Bola Tinubu's approval of a 15% ad valorem import tariff on fuel import. The new policy, which takes effect after a 30-day transition period expected to end on the 21st of November, is part of the government strategy to protect local refineries and reduce the influx of cheaper imported products that threaten domestic refining investment. However, marketer says the move could backfire and push retail prices beyond the reach of average Nigerians. Commenting in a telephone interview on Thursday, multiple depot operators with knowledge of the matter, who spoke on condition of anonymity, said the decision could further raise the price of petrol, which already sell for around 920 naira per litre in many parts of the country. Educate us very quickly on this 15% import tariff and the implication of that on the price of petrol in the market.
The implication is straightforward. increase in the price of petrol and diesel. And, these are the major drivers of the economy. But let's not even go into that yet. The charade they are painting is that they want to protect the local refineries in this country. I don't buy that. That's complete nonsense in my opinion. I am bold to tell everybody this morning that what Dangote is producing is not enough to service Nigeria as of today. It is a refinery designed to process 650,000 barrels of crude every day. But as we speak right now, it's nowhere near 650,000 capacity. What they are producing, what they are refining every day is not enough to take care of us. That's number one. Number two, I'm not a fan of Dangote. I don't trust Dangote whatsoever. When Dangote went into cement manufacturing, a bag of cement was going for 1,000 naira. Today it's 12,500 naira. When he went into sugar, sugar was next to free. Today sugar is extremely expensive. How is it possible? How can you process the fact that people who are importing petrol from far away China, from far away Belgium, Netherlands, and all these places are selling their own petrol at a rate cheaper than that of Dangote, who is refining locally? That tells you that this guy is doing price gouging, in my opinion. The government, if the government really cares about the people, what they should be talking about is Dangote, reduce your price. How come people who are spending so much money on logistics find a way to sell cheaper than you who is not transporting your crude or your petroleum product to anywhere? You are getting the crude here, you are refining it here. Somehow it's still more expensive than people who are spending so much money on logistics. Guy, you have been doing something bad. That is what the government should be talking about. But no, the government is not doing that. Rather, the government is doing what is going to make the price of crude go high, price of petroleum products go high. Now we're talking about
which is going to be in the favor of Dangote.
Of course. Dangote, but the government is not even thinking about Dangote. The government is only thinking about itself. 15% from people who are importing. Dangote is only supplying around 30% of what we produce, what we consume every day. 31%. And that's, I'm talking about what the NUPRC said and the NMDPRA. And these are the government agencies who know exactly what is happening in the country. It is only producing between 30 and 31% of what we use locally. What that means is that each and every one of us will now be forced to bring out an additional maybe 200 naira to buy fuel. At that particular point in time, trust me, Dangote is not going to keep saying that, oh, he's selling his own petrol at the rate of 800. Okay, let me tell you who Dangote is. People go into his facility to bring fuel in the name of distributorship. And they were adding 15 naira to a liter from him before getting to the final dispensers. Dangote said no, that these people are stealing from Nigerians, they are milking us, they are doing this, they are doing that. He said he would rather transport the fuel to the filling stations free of charge. I don't know if you can remember he said that. Guess what happened? He increased his price per liter by 77 naira. The bad boys were doing 15 naira and they were labeled as bad boys. I mean, the guys who were doing 15 naira per liter were labeled as bad boys. Dangote said all sorts of things about them. Guess what? He has now taken it to 5 folds of what those ones were doing. I would be foolish to entrust my welfare and well-being in the hands of someone like that. He clearly does not care about how his things affect us. It's about how his things affect us. It's about how he can make more money. He is now worth $30 billion. That is what happens when you do the things Dangote does. I don't see him as a clean businessman. That's my personal opinion. And what is going to happen eventually is that, bet it, when the importers have to pay that, when they now begin to pay the 15%, and their fuel goes to 1,200, trust me, Dangote at that particular point is going to be doing 1,190. And, these are hard times for Nigerians. God help us. Have you forgotten about the fact that come January 1st, everybody's going to pay extra 5% on the price of fuel and diesel, on petrol and diesel? That tells you the intention of the government. It's not about protecting anybody. It's about milking Nigerians till we can breathe no more. During the course of the week, FIRS came out to say something I've never heard of in my life. Now lawyers are going to be taxed. Not just the normal tax. It's now going to be value-added tax, which means for every money that goes into the hand of a lawyer, 7.5 is going to the government after paying the usual.
And you already know how expensive it is to get a lawyer.
Now a lot of people are going to find it difficult to get a lawyer because the figure is going to jump.
What's the intention, basically?
The intention, in my opinion.
What do you think is the intention of the government? Because again, on radio, on television, on the streets, the voice is loud
and clear.
But yet we keep getting all kinds of.
The truth of the matter is that, as far as I'm concerned, and I want to say something, and it's the truth. I see all the current handlers of the country as incredibly daft people. And the reason why I'm saying this is very, very clear. They want to do something that nobody has ever done. How other countries managed to get to the top was about building infrastructure, encouraging manufacturing within the country, making sure that guys providing services had a field day, so that should the people have money, they will be able to patronize these people. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And eventually the government will now tax the activities going on moderately and modestly. But here, the idea these people have is that they want to tax Nigerians to develop Nigeria, and it is never going to work. The economy is down. It is bleeding. You cannot tax people who are down and out already. Expand the system, create new sectors. Obasanjo, I'm not a fan of this, but he redefined the banking sector such that it became, a very strong pillar in the Nigerian economy. Ditto for the telecoms industry. This administration is not looking into how they are going to create anything. Rather, the already system which was complaining, was limping on one leg, is now being taxed such that we'll be making so much money from the area of tax. The basic idea behind the idea of tax reform, according to the president, is to make sure that Nigerians pay money that is going to, contribute a very sizable chunk of our GDP. They said our tax to GDP ratio is low. So for that reason, they want to tax us to a point where tax is going to carry a substantial part of our GDP. What do you tax? You don't tax joblessness. You don't tax struggling companies. You tax people who are making money. Who is making money in this country? That's the question. I have a lot of lawyer friends. 80% of my friends are lawyers, and these guys complain bitterly.
Absolutely. You can say that again.
Now you are saying you want to tax them 7.5%.
You can say that again. 0916-893-1000, 0915-334-893, and 0911-333-3893. I'll take the numbers again. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-333-893. Petroleum marketers have warned that the price of petrol could exceed 1,000 naira per litre.
Now they have even put a figure on it. 4.8 trillion naira for the government at the end of the year. That's the target. That is the target. Revenue. Revenue. And more revenue. You don't get revenue from people who cannot eat.
Who don't have.
People are struggling to eat. It's a miracle for you to eat a decent breakfast, a decent lunch, and a decent dinner in this country. If you can eat 3 high-quality meals in this country today, you don't know how good God is to you.
And if you do, how consistent can you keep it?
That's
another one.
And those are the same people you want to tax life out of their body. Mr. President, you are not doing well.
Over 30 states rely on federal allocation, says report. The 10th edition of the Budget State Report has revealed that over 30 states in Nigeria rely on Federal Account Allocation Committee allocations for the revenue, leading to fiscal pressure. A detailed report titled A Decade of Subnational Fiscal Analysis, Growth, Decline and Middling Performance was launched in Abuja on Tuesday. The budget in Nigeria, leading civil tech organization promoting fiscal transparency and accountability, highlighting the overdependence on federal allocation by state An executive of the Commission on Television program on Wednesday said at least 30 states, including Lagos, Ogun, Enugu, rely on the committee for more than 60% of by the day. And when you see things like this, I still ask again, do you still want a state? And how will your state survive? Is this still all about these taxes we're saying, because it's going to the central purse? More states, more taxes. Is that what we may get?
It's like that. More states, more taxes. But beyond taxes, I do not understand why any reasonable Nigerian would wake up more states. It's like creating more money, more resources, more avenues to make money for the politicians. It's never going to help anybody. Okay, let's talk about Oyo State alone. There is clamor for Ibadan State. There is a clamor for Ogun State. Go to Ogun State, you hear Ijebu State.
Yeah.
Go to Osun State, you have Ife-Ijesha State. I mean, what exactly is our problem? How exactly is that going to help put food on the table? How is that going to open up more companies? What we should be talking about is how to industrialize Nigeria. If you are asking for an industrial zone in your region, trust me, I'll give you a salute this morning, because you are thinking like a normal human being. I am from Elisha. Let's forget about Ife-Ijesha. Let's even say for Abra and Elisha State. How exactly is that going to help me? If you're talking about having an industrial hub in Elisha, that's going to help everybody in Elisha, because that's going to cure joblessness. It's going to bring a lot of resources to the state. But no, it is about every community requesting for a state, when we know too well that the ones that are currently in existence cannot even survive on their own. We need to polish the way we reason in this country. And let me tell you something, it's going to shock you. Guess what, bro? 97% of Nigerians want a new state.
Why do you think it's like that?
Because we are crazy. We don't know how to think. We are so clannish in our mindset that no. If when it comes to our own place, so we must protect it, we must have sovereignty, we must do. What exactly do you want to do with that? I am a citizen of Osun State. When Osun was carved out of Oyo, how exactly has life fared better for
the people
me?
of Osun?
I don't get it. It's about creating a new office of the governor for people who want to be governors to collect so much money in the name of security vote and allowances and all of that. It's about creating a brand new House of Assembly for people who want to go there. I mean, how exactly is that going to help the average citizen? Guess what? A lot of people who are listening right now must be saying Mr. Sonny is stupid. If that is what makes me stupid, so be it. But it is my opinion, and I understand that it is not going to help anybody should we create more states.
All right, so it's over 30 states rely solely on federal allocation, and that brings us to the question of internally generated revenue are strong to be able to generate income, at least sustain itself, say 50